Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, dividing the land of Israel, God's consequences. And a scripture reference is Joel 3 verse 2, I will gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Then I will enter into judgment with them there on behalf of my people and my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and they have divided up my land. And go further down into Joel 3 verse 12, let the nations be aroused and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the surrounding nations. And the point is it's, if you listen to the verse, it's my people, it's my inheritance, Israel, my land. And God says, don't mess with my people. But yet the nations want to do that. And as Scripture reads, it's going to happen. And, you know, looking at the landscape of today, June 2016, things seem to be rounding into form for something. There's lots of talks of peace anyway. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know, in the verse, I will gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Then I will enter into judgment with them there on behalf of my people and my inheritance, Israel. And so these will be the consequences, per God, for doing these things. He will gather the nations, the Goim, non-Hebrew people, to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And if you look at the meaning of the word Jehoshaphat, there's a clue right there. And it means Jehovah has judged. And it's past tense. I mean, even though we've not seen that happen as of today, June 2016, as God's concerned, it's a done deal. It's happened. It's past tense. Now, some take this to be the valley between Jerusalem and the Mount of Olives on the east side, or it's also known as the Kidron Valley. Now, if you look at that, you know, little piece of real estate, I mean, that's not even a half a mile from the Mount of Olives over to Jerusalem. And so, like, how in the world are you going to get all these nations? How are you going to get all the nations into that small valley and enter into judgment with the, quote, nations of the world? It's a pretty small place as of today. And I will reference this from Dwight Pentecost, his book, Things to Come. He has a very, very excellent observation on the situation in light of Zechariah 14 verse 4. In that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, and that would be Jesus, which is in front of Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives will be split in its middle from east to west by a very large valley, so that half of the mountain will move toward the north and the other half towards the south. So when Jesus returns and he sets foot on the Mount of Olives, this valley is going to change significantly. Geography of the land will change. And we also know this from the book of Revelation. You know, at the end of each one of the three sets of judgments, seals, trumpets, and bowls, there's a big earthquake at the end of each one of those. So you can go to, you know, the sixth seal, seventh seal, earthquakes, end of the seventh trumpet, earthquakes, and sixth trumpet, earthquake, and then at the end of the seventh bowl, the biggest of all earthquakes. Now, Jesus, that one, in that time, in the seventh bowl, that's when Christ returns, and that could be referring to that particular time with this Zechariah passage. I don't know. I mean, however God chooses to do that, he's going to, but the context is an earthquake, and the mountain will split, and it will be a very large valley. And the Hebrew words for very large are ma'od, and it means muchness, force, abundance, exceedingly, to a great degree, and gadol is the other word in the Hebrew, and it means great and large in magnitude and extent. So it's kind of redundant. Very large, great and large, big earthquake is the point. Something big on a massive scale is going to happen. And those definitions are per Strong's Concordance. I will enter into judgment. God will bring them to the Jehovah has judged, or the valley of Jehoshaphat. So those are synonymous. When you hear Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew, It means Jehovah has judged. And he's going to judge, shaphat, in the Hebrew. Shaphat means to judge, govern, vindicate, punish. And the grammar indicates God will enter into judgment, so it's redundant. He will enter into judgment in the valley called Jehovah has judged. So he's making his point. Don't mess with my people. Don't mess with my land. Don't mess with my inheritance. But nations are going to do it anyway. So, and when this goes down, the United Nations will not be consulted. This is going to happen against the will of the world. So, in fact, they're going to declare war on Jesus. Good luck with that. If you're interested in these topics, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com, keyword, Land for Peace. Thanks for listening. Bye.